What's up, guys? The title of this video that I found is called Wolves Have Taken Over a Marine Ecosystem. And that made me go like this. I was like, what? Wolves have what? They can swim now? Efficiently to be able to take over a whole ecosystem? Let's watch.
Seem like it while you're watching your dog fail over and over again to get even close to catching a squirrel. But that creature is related to an apex predator. Not the squirrel, the dog. Your dog. Wherever they go, wolves tend to sit atop the proverbial food web. But while wolves are amazing hunters, they are still land-based animals, except for one region in Alaska where wolves have become the apex predators of a marine ecosystem. In 2013, a small population of Alaskan gray wolves doggy-paddled its way out to Pleasant Island.
They would be from Alaska. They would be. Nature's scary, man. Nature's like one of those people, just like, you keep trying me, I'll change. And I'll come at you no matter which way you want to. Nature is scary.
Island, just outside the border of Glacier Bay National Park. And once they got there, they saw a bunch of yummy-looking deer that may have never even seen a wolf before, and they got to chowing down. In fact, they chowed down so much that they nearly wiped out their new food source. But this sudden lack of food did not make the Pleasant Island wolf population starve to death, nor did they abandon their new home and swim off to find more deer-filled forests. No, they found another tasty treat to fill their bellies, something a lot smaller than a deer and a lot wetter. Sea otters. They started eating...
You said wetter. Not me. Okay.
Sea otters. Who wouldn't want to gobble them up, right? But actually, don't let their appearance fool you. Sea otters are apex predators in their own right.
Did you hear that? Yeah, they are. Sea otters are vicious. They're adorable, but they're vicious. I'm not sure where I saw a video somewhere of a sea otter just ruining someone's day. They are not nice at all. Not even the slightest. Oh gosh.
Specifically, sea otters rule the nearshore ecosystem, which is the marine ecosystem that exists close to the coastline. A sea otter's food of choice is the sea urchin, and that's great for the local ecosystem because sea urchins are voracious kelp eaters. Kelp forests are biodiversity hotspots, so if the otters aren't there to eat the sea urchins, then the entire ecosystem will eventually come crashing down. You can actually see a similar effect when wolves aren't there to manage a deer population. For example, when wolves were killed off in Yellowstone National Park, the local deer did too much grazing, and that caused the beaver population to plummet.
It is amazing, though, how balanced an ecosystem is, to the point that introducing anything new to the environment could easily wipe out an entire ecosystem. That's fascinating to me. I didn't even know that as a kid growing up. That's why TSA people are very strict about what you bring into the country, because either insects or fruits introducing certain things could become horrible for the ecosystem. Like, I know that's what happened in several different parts of the country in the United States, where I think in New Orleans there was a species that got introduced. I forgot what it was, where they hunt them down in swamps and they pay you to hunt them. People actually make a pretty good living off them. I forgot which animal they were. They were like some kind of rodent, I believe. I think people use them for gumbo, but I'm not sure. People in New Orleans, let me know.
To survive the winter. Yes, beaver and kelp don't fulfill the exact same role in their respective ecosystems, but the dams beavers build do help maintain local populations of fish and birds, and those populations came back not long after wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone. So by sitting at the top of the food web, both wolves and sea otters keep everything hunky-dory. And it's why each of those species has been reintroduced to some of their old stomping grounds to try and bring some balance back to the the environment. While wolves have never never been classified as endangered in Alaska, sea otters were nearly wiped out from the entire North Pacific due to a combination of pollution and hunting. But in the 1960s, a group was transplanted from the Aleutian Islands to the edge of Glacier Bay National Park. The transplant was a huge success.
Why would people hunt sea otters? Do they have anything that's rare on them? I can't think of anything. I've never heard of sea otters as a delicacy anywhere. Hold on a minute. Why do people hunt sea otters? Beginning in the mid 1700s, sea otters were aggressively hunted throughout the range for their rich fur. Oh, really? It's probably water resistant too. I did not know that. Oh, okay. That's good to know.
The local sea otter population exploded and spread, and by the 2000s, some had set up shop on Pleasant Island, just in time to repopulate the coast for some very hungry wolves to stumble upon. Now, wolves and sea otters likely coexisted in the past, but because sea otter populations have been in decline for so long, we'd never actually observed what happens when wolves and sea otters interact. And now Glacier Bay is the only region in the entire world where we know wolf and sea otter ranges overlap, which means researchers have a unique opportunity to study what happens when two apex predators meet. And at least in this case, you wind up with one apex predator again. You also end up with a terrestrial mammal sitting at the top of a marine food web. Since you don't want the coastline overrun with kelp, you do need some sea urchins to eat it, which means the sea otter population can't run completely amok like the newcomer.
Wait, hold on. Time out. I learned something new again today. Sea urchins eat stuff? They're alive, right? They're alive, right? Right, they're alive, right? But they eat? Dang nature, you scary.
Wolves did with the Pleasant Island deer. So maybe these wolves will help the reintroduced sea otter population from ballooning too much. But before you ask if the otters will soon go the way of the deer, thankfully, no. There isn't much concern that these wolves will wipe out the local sea otter population. Researchers have calculated that the wolves need to eat 90 adult sea otters a year to maintain their population, and while not every sea otter in this region lives around Pleasant Island, there are still about 8,000 of them to choose from. So for now, that is enough to otters remain sustainable. The island wolves could stick around for a long time instead of vanishing like other packs. Also thriving, all of our patrons, without whom vanishing like other packs do when the deer run out. Wolves weren't leaving the island to hunt for other prey, so they seemed pretty content with their otter-based diet. In fact, researchers think that if the supply of otters remains sustainable, the island...
Okay, so this is about sea otters and wolves being two apex predators, and I guess wolves hunting sea otters. Okay. All right, I'm cool with that. I thought when I heard like a marine ecosystem, I expected them to like dive in the water, and when they dove in the water, just like bite them in the water and then come back out. Like almost similar to a bear, but a bear doesn't really die, or like a hippo. But like a wolf. Wolf hippo. But that's just my imagination. Like, comment on the video, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think on the comments down below.